Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about some important topic that I left behind. I know this is time for preparing OET. I can't leave it behind because, as you all know, I'm really, really obsessed with this exam because it is a very nice yet a tricky exam that gets you to speak in English, to be a part of US and other Western countries. So if you never ever hesitate to talk in English, it is something that will help you in building your linguistic abilities and vocabulary skills. Today, I'm going to simply share my experience with OET exam. So, one second, let me share my screen. Okay, and I hope you can see my screen. One second. What went wrong? Oh, I just start to share everything together. Okay, so you should be able to see my score. This was my score way before when I took my exam, and this was in 2025. So, as you can see, I did not get to the reading that well. And the reason was I was rushing through the exam with some other commitments. So always remember for OET, you do not want to rush, no matter where and how you want to do it. Just make sure you don't rush into the exam. Get the specifics, tips, and tricks from as many sources as you can. So, as you can see, this is one of the biggest way where you can mess up with any of the subsets. So the reading part is pretty tricky part for me. Figure out what subset you have to deal with for a longer time. Work on it and then give the exam. Have a tentative schedule rather than planning for that particular day. So I have made a reading video which is around in the comments. I mean, in the video sections, if you would go and click on that. It was one of my videos where I got some people to talk to me, and they told me that it was really a great way to start the reading part. So, if you are interested, you can look over it. Now, coming down to speaking. In speaking, I got a pretty good score, and that was 400. So, today I'm going to break down things that I learned from the speaking module, um, things I implemented on my speaking skills, and we will also go over what you have to do in the beginning of the role play or way before when the role play has even started off. Okay, so as you can see, the web page is benchmark. uh, I'm not promoting anyone here. I just googled speaking sample role play cards and this showed up. So I'm just using this as my sample role play card in order to get you to know what the specifics are, like to score a 400 on the speaking subset. So, with due diligence, let's get right into it. For The speaking part, you do not want to look over the office role play card, because that's not something you would even have to look at, because it is it is just not expected of you. So for practice purposes, you may want to be a preceptor for some, for like your friends, but then other than that it's not of great value, so let's skip this. And this is patient's role play card. Okay. So this is the one that you have to look at. Um, in this 5 minutes, so it's speaking is like you will be allotted 3 minutes to prepare, as far as I know, and then you have to speak for like 5 minutes. Okay. Now, a lot of people have this notion of being speaky in the beginning or in throughout the conversation. I suggest it is not about speaky in the beginning and neither in the end. It's about having the conversation to flow in um, the natural way. You don't need to jump in and show your skills, um, because that will come out as you're not being attentive to listening. So you may want to give good time for the precipitator to talk. Okay, and this is something very, very important. Because so many times I came across so many of my practice partners, and also they were showing off, like they were just doing a lot of explanation or making the intro part a bit wider. So, well, I personally feel you can keep the intro wider, but you don't need to keep talking all the time. It's really not that way. You need others person to interact with you. Uh, and that needs to be quite often in the 5 minutes, because that way you would know if the person is being confrontational, or if the person is persistent, or if, like, what they say is the hard patient, or the patient who is not so receptive to your ideas. So, in that case, uh, you might know when you have the patient or when you have the precipitator talk. So, once when you know that, the other thing you might want to do is work on your empathy. And that is very important. I think there are so many phrases you can use. And maybe there is should be some file where it shows on how to add on different vocabularies, demonstrating your empathy. So maybe you can simply scroll over those sentences and put in those sentences in your own way while you speak to the precipitator. This way, you can get your points a bit to the higher side. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about what you should be doing in the first 3 minutes when you're allotted the role play card. So, all you're going to do is read where exactly is this happening? Is it in the office? Is it in the emergency? That will vary based on your tone. And you might need to show that you're working under pressure if it's an emergency, and probably try and speak in a way that is natural to you. And then if it's office, it's like you can say, hello, I'm one of the doctors here at the office today. And then start with, how can I help you? Something like that. Okay. Um, and then you are highlighting. Highlighting is very, very important. So in this way, you can know if you are talking to a child or to an adult. So, and coming down to the tasks, I would tell you to go through every task, but then highlight while you go through it. And here you're going to highlight only the verbs. Okay. So, first one goes like finding out if a patient has taken a pregnancy test. You're going to find out. Okay. So the moment you see these verbs, you can simply come up with the phrases, with the questions, what, when, why, and all that. So ask the patient if she knows how far along in her pregnancy she may be. Next, we want to reassure. Reassure is like you can simply go saying, don't worry, because the person would worry. And maybe you can add in, try not to worry, because that will be sounding better to the patient. Okay. So, other than that, there are phrases that are pretty common. So if you use these pretty common phrases, you're likely to get a 350 on a guarantee basis from my side. But if you try and tweak in a little more with natural assurances, like I know it's pretty valid to be feeling this way, and having your intonation added to that, then it's going to do wonders. That is what would get you to 400 range. All right. So again, there can be multiple verbs that you may want to highlight, and then explain to the patient. It's what it says, explain to the patient as doctor your goal to make sure that she's given all the access to the information. So depending on what you're asked to do, you can get a gist of how the interaction would go. And then whenever a person asks you a question, identifies something that is not very good, then you can always add, thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate your concerns. I know that can be concerning. Something where you can acknowledge and try to bring that into your conversation. So practice today with your friend and let me know how it goes. If you have any further questions, do let me know in the comments below. And that's it for now. I hope to see you after some time with another new video very soon. Till then, take care and keep smiling.